Hey everybody, welcome to Valentine TV. We have the pre wait a minute, the pre-sentencing papers in, also from the probate office or whatever. I think it's the probate office. Anyway, y'all, thank you for coming to Valentine TV. I appreciate it. Y'all, please like, subscribe, share. And if you can hype up the videos, baby, hype it up, okay? I appreciate it so much. And okay, this reaction is coming from TISA Tales, and this you see the title, pre-sentencing hearing explained. And who better to explain Diddy stuff? Y'all know who I follow with the Diddy trial, right? Do reactions too, rather. TISA. TISA in the house. TISA's gonna explain it, okay? And I'm gonna react, okay? So here we go. Cause I want her to do this. Y'all know when I let TISA do it. And when I'm laughing, that means TISA in full effect. You hear me? Alright. And I'm right. Everything she say, I'm right with her with this. Okay? Here we go, y'all. All right. But please subscribe to the channel, Valentine TV, okay? And you can find Tisa on YouTube if I didn't say that. Sorry. Okay.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are Sean Diddy Combs, things have just gone from bad to worse. Y'all remember how Diddy's team was suggested 14 months? Well, there is a new leaked memo from the Diddy docket. It looks
Yeah.
like it came from the defense, and the defense is arguing that the probation office that gives the pre-sentencing report. The pre-sentencing report, I'll explain what that is. They're recommending that Diddy get somewhere between 5 and 7 years. And guess what? The prosecution is saying they are going to recommend even more. Y'all, let's get into this, baby. Let me just say one thing. So many of the dirty Diddy dozen, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, was busy shucking and jiving, doing the thing, right? But my four black grandparents, two black parents said, baby, God going to show the way. And it looks like it has.
And yeah, I'm so glad that she says that. Okay, it's the second video I watched so far of hers today that she said for black grandparents to black parents. Because people don't think, why y'all don't think she black? Black people can't have light eyes? Huh? I got people in my family, they got bright eyes just like that. That's why I knew she was black. Y'all, come on, stop tripping. Stop calling her Karen, all that kind of stuff. Y'all be tripping. But anyway, the Diddy trial, pre-sentencing, all that, y'all. It is all good news for the victims. Come on, judge.
Because let me just say this. You know, all the BS, TISA was lying, TISA was lying, and all the other mess that they were saying. Was I lying or did the jury get it wrong?
Jury got
Because
it
the pre
wrong.
sentencing report actually did a lot of I'm about to say science based. The pre sentencing report actually adds in all the evidence, all this, all that. And baby, they looked at the actual facts, the same facts that were presented in front of the jury.
Right.
And they said, yeah, we know the Mann Act could get time served, but based off of the aggregating factors, baby, you are looking to from 5 years to 7 years. And guess what? The prosecution said, and we're going to actually demand more. Y'all, let's get into this now. How do we know it's true? Well, this was posted on the Diddy docket, okay? It has not been specifically verified through the judge's chambers.
But I'm gonna tell y'all this also. I heard it this morning explained also, but I was sleepy. Okay, 12 hours. Okay, but I was sleepy. But anyway, he said the same thing, same amount of time, all of that, all of that. Well, his time was a little higher. But anyway, he explained his also. So I didn't do a reaction to it, so I ain't gonna say his name because normally I do it, but not.
However, judging from the language in this little blurb, this was leaked from the defense and given to the Diddy docket, okay? And listen to what it says. The U.S. Office of Probation recommends a sentence of 70 to 87 months for Sean Diddy Combs. Probation recommends a guideline range of 70 to 87 months imprisonment based on total offense level of 27 and criminal history category of I. I'm going to explain what all this means in a second. Just listen, okay? The calculation is premised on a base offense level of 14 pursuant to USSG, a 4-point enhancement for fraud and coercion, under a 4-point enhancement for the role in the offense, and a 5-level increase based on grouping. Probation, and get this. This is why people are thinking it came from the defense and they leaked this. The defense says probation's calculation grossly overstates the seriousness of the offense and is infected with multiple legal and factual errors. Y'all, listen, my 4 Black grandparents and 2 Black parents said, baby, leave it in God's hands. And it looks like God came through. What they going?
Yeah, I can tell that they had a talk to with TISA, maybe, I assume, because of the way certain people treat her after the Diddy trial. Yeah, I mean, I would be, I don't know if she was hurt. I mean, yeah, all kinds of emotions. You know what I mean? I mean, that would irritate the crowd. You see a mob of people come running at you, talking about you lied, you lied, you lied, Tisa lied, you work for the Fed, they paying you, they paying. No, Diddy paying y'all, okay? And especially that the ringleader, the ringleader.
Say now. You're going to say I work for probation and I work for the feds and I'm not broke and literally dirty of soul. That's why I'm literally either
Thank you.
taking payoff or so low as to beg for a dollar.
That meant, yeah, she's saying that, yeah, people thought she wasn't black. Okay. That's what she mean, put about the soul part. Okay.
Because that's what y'all gotta do to pay rent, but it's not being reflected because we see the views, and the views are anyway, right? On the floor, just like your morals. But listen, all jokes aside, what y'all gonna say now? What y'all gonna say now? Because the probation department is not the prosecution. The probation department that gives a pre-sentence support report is actually supposed to be super unbiased. They look and they add by the numbers. They don't say, "Oh my God, A, B, C, and D," and no, they literally say, "Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this?" But guess what? They also get, okay, they also get, luckily, to see the evidence that Diddy's team was so skilled at keeping from the actual jury. See, that's the thing when people say, "Oh my God, you was lying." Did I lie or was I actually in the courtroom paying attention? I actually saw what was presented. I saw the stuff that they kept out of the court because they were really good at finding these loopholes, okay? But at the end of the day, the loopholes don't help you out in the pre-sentencing report. And don't forget, the prosecution, another memo said they was going to raise the stakes. Hold on real quick. Okay, so let's do a quick breakdown of the calculations because this very much was painting by the numbers, okay? If you break down the calculation, the base level of sins, that is 14 points. That's the Mann Act offense. This comes from the guideline section they cite. That's a guideline for certain fraud and coercion related offenses, hence the Mann Act. They gave 4 points plus for fraud and coercion. They added 4 because the offense allegedly involved fraud and coercion. They added 4 points for Diddy's role in the offense. They added another 4 because Diddy was allegedly the organizer and leader of the scheme. And they added 5 points. That's grouping all the counts where there are multiple related counts or victims, and the guidelines allow grouping. And that raises it another 5 levels. That gives it a total of, drum roll, 27 points.
Yeah, be dang. I forgot what I was about to say. But y'all remember when like when I did a reaction to Ticket and he explained the points, how they was gonna do the points. Yeah, all of that. That's what we're doing right now. And so I guess Tisa must have another job with the probate court or whatever court it is, or whatever office, right? Y'all funny. Eh, Y'all, when I say y'all, Y'all know y'all, whoever on Diddy's side, okay? Whoever on Diddy's side, that's who I'm talking to, okay?
27 points. They looked at Diddy, had no criminal history, category one. He was a first time offender, no priors. So the guidelines, keeping emotion out of it. Since everybody want to talk about facts and not emotion, right? Even though these male podcasters are the most emotional bitchs I've ever seen in my life, let's talk numbers and figures, right? Facts, not feelings, right? The guideline table says 70 to 87 months, 5 years, 10 months to 7 years, 3 months. That's what probation has recommended. Now, usually probation recommends something fair in the middle. Then the prosecution asked for more, and they did say they were going to ask for more. Diddy's team is asking for 14 months. Y'all, I don't see how they're going to get into this. Now, keep in mind, the probation's recommendation is influential but not binding. The defense had argued the enhancements are wrong, right? They said they grossly overstated, and the prosecution will probably argue probation got it right, and they're going to push for higher like they promised to do. And they took the narrative, the offense, the facts, the indictment, the plea, the trial, the guideline map, the criminal history, the personal background, victim statements, and recommendation. Y'all, let's break this mug all the way down, because it
Break
looks like Judge
it.
Aaron might be delivering an early Christmas present to those that actually stand against abusers. I know in today's day and age, that's a very controversial stance to say that you're not going to sit there and lick the toes, nose, or whatever else you can from an abuser to get a dollar or get clout, when you literally look, act, and probably smell like the type of people that Diddy would never even have around him. That's the
Y'all. Woo. Y'all know. I know. Okay. The main leader is the one that was leading the group. You know who you are. Do I need to say your name? Do I need to say your name? Because you were the ringleader in New York that day when you thought you had it going on, and not knowing the police looking for you, and not allegedly. I better say that, even though he did mess up by coming back. Now you know who I'm talking to, don't you? Yeah. Uh, Ratchet. Okay, Ratchet. All right, and I won't say it again, but that's who. Yeah.
crazy thing. That is the crazy thing. This man has been dissolved to nothing. And now the leeches, pygmishas, bottom feeders, and failed podcasters and reporters, right? Male, old ones, are coming out trying to leech and get a part of a train that, baby, when the train is actually moving, you're not even allowed on the platform. But you know what? Funny how that is. Okay, now let's continue breaking this down and what the offenses are, because the probation department actually looked at everything. You want to know what they look like? Well, I asked some of my lawyer friends just to see, and they were like, listen, TISA, first of all, they were like, stop texting me so much. Like, the mofo is not doing as good as everybody makes it seem. All right. Now, they also said that, where does it come from? Where does it come from? Where they what they see in the pre-sentencing report? They said they get it from both sides. The prosecution hands over discovery, trial transcripts, plea agreements, victim impact statements, etc. The defense also submitted materials like letters, medical reports, financial records, family background, anything they can, right, to make him look good. Now they interview people. They interview Diddy if the defense wants to. If Diddy wants to be interviewed, he can have a say. Victims, family members, employers, probation officers, and past cases, if he had any. We all know that Diddy didn't. And they review investigative files. They review FBI, DEA, IRS reports, whatever agency investigated, pretrial service notes, and sometimes sealed evidence the jury didn't hear, like uncharged conduct, dismissed counts, and evidence excluded at trial. Now, there is a difference than the jury. The jury only hears admissible evidence at trial.
And the other ones hear everything. That's what I like. That's what I waiting to hear, girl. They heard everything, got to see everything. But just remember, like I gotta remember, at the end of the day, it's up to the judge, and I think the judge He knows. He knows. Cause I'm still thinking about the little boy or whoever in the stock room. Oh, I mean, all the victims, all of them, all of them. But that one, when he got fired, I was so mad. But anyway, let's continue.
So strict rules to evidence apply. How can you say that? Well, remember how they tried to paint Bonnet as a liar and everybody's like, oh, Westmoreland did her thing. She did. But in my opinion, it was perfectly evil because it was proof the jury wasn't allowed to hear that they were arguing in court about whether it should come in. Where Rob Holiday, who was Bonnet's best friend at the time and a
Right.
good friend of Diddy,
Yes.
called Bonnet a few days after that
Yes.
happened to get her to settle with Diddy for cash and not to file a civil suit against Diddy. This is the thing that everybody said didn't happen, right? But the probation pre-sentencing report department, they can consider anything reliable, even evidence the jury hear, as long as it's in the investigative record. That means uncharged conduct, dismissed counts, and acquitted conduct can appear in the pre-sentencing report. The judge can then consider those things at sentencing under a preponderance of the evidence standard, whether it's more likely than not, which is much looser and better than beyond a reasonable doubt. For example, Diddy's jury was like, yo, we didn't really hear enough evidence to convict him on the RICO and all that stuff. However, the probation can still include that count of RICO, that count of sex trafficking, that count of everything.
See, they can still consider it when they about to get a freaking sentence. As long as, once they look at it, the judge knows. The judge knows, y'all. The judge, Aaron.
Go that count of sex trafficking, that count of everything, and the conduct in the pre-sentence report if agents documented it and if the judge allows it, and that can increase the guideline score even if the jury never found guilty.
So, Carisha, please, girl, go sit down somewhere.
Woo! So I will say again, and I want to see what the girlies got to say, right? So did TISA lie, or did the jury actually get it wrong? Did TISA lie, or did the I want to hear y'all say I work for the Department of Corrections. Did TISA lie, or did the jury? Did the pre-sentencing report, Department of Corrections, did they actually get to see all the evidence that Diddy's dream team was so skilled at getting excluded? Not because the evidence wasn't valuable or it wasn't right, but because they were whizzes at getting
The jury.
loopholes. They were perfect at finding loopholes. But let's get back into it because oh happy day, oh happy day. So let's get into.
Tell me she ain't black. Oh my God. Y'all knew boy, I tell you. I don't think, Diddy's supposed to do his thing tomorrow, y'all, don't forget. Diddy's supposed to do his talking for his pre-sentencing, whatever, tomorrow. I got it on the calendar, I gotta put it on my alarm clock. But anyway, we're gonna see. It wouldn't be something if he got sentenced tomorrow. Wouldn't that be a trip? He go up in there talking about this and that, worms in my food, all that stuff, and then they go ahead and do the October the 3rd, do it tomorrow. That'd be something.
To this. And yes, everybody, for the record, if you guys don't know me, hi, my name is TISA, and Gucci think I love them. Sorry. My name is TISA, and I do want to see every abuser in jail.
Exactly.
If a man or woman but here we are talking about a man, is guilty of violent, numerous incidences of abuse, has been accused of car bombing, has been accused of what Gina said happened to her in the Tasha K interview, kicking life out of them. Oh, I don't care. I don't care how many bottles I don't care what type of parties you threw. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care who you know. And I don't care what morally decrepit demon that you can get to stand by you by waving dollars in front of their face, or maybe they see themselves in you. I really don't care. See, the moral of the story when it comes to Diddy is sometimes you got to stand on business, even if that means standing alone. And baby, the good thing is I never stood alone because you guys were right there with me.
Right here.
Again, did I lie? Did I lie? Did I lie?
Uh-uh.
Not really. Because the same evidence that I heard, because I was sitting in the courtroom, not in the courtyard making hate videos trying to get your struggle views up, right? I was in the actual courtroom and I was in there reporting. And I was in there hearing evidence that the jury didn't even hear, but everybody in the courtroom and the overflow room, if you were paying attention. I will say the last day of court, the judge kicked everybody out of court. So everybody that was waiting to go back in to hear if Diddy's bail was going to be granted, because there was such hoopla outside and they were acting like the animals were out, they forced everybody to go into the overflow room and wait. That's why I was in the
It
overflow
was
room
beautiful
for the very
outside.
last day of trial, because you either went to the overflow room or you went to the cafeteria. They closed the courtroom down so you couldn't go. They closed the courthouse down. So if you left, they wouldn't let you re-enter. So it was either the overflow room or the cafeteria, you know? Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, let's get back into this, right? But I want to see how they try to spin this. I want to see how they try to make a mockery of people that don't want domestic abusers, because domestic violence is violence
Thank
out
you.
on the street. And it
Thank
appears that the
you.
pre-sentencing report by the probation officer, which don't have anything to do with the prosecution, is recommending 5 to 7 years. And the prosecution said they are recommending significantly more. All right, so let's get into this. So how did it get to 27? The base offense level 1, that comes under the guideline section they cited. That's the guideline for certain fraud, coercion related offenses. They gave another 4 points for fraud and coercion. They added 4 because the offense allegedly involved fraud and coercion. They added 4 points for his role in the offense, probably because Diddy was allegedly an organizer or leader of the scheme, which is the Mann Act violation, and 5 points grouping on counts. When there are multiple related counts or victims, the guidelines allow grouping. That raised it another 5 points. That's how you got a total of 27 points. 27 of offense level 27, and the criminal history category 1, because he is a first-time offender with no prior convictions. The guideline tables, the guideline MFing tables, not with these losers that are, the fact that there are so many broke people, I'm talking about in their bank accounts and morally, that are coming out with their little struggle views, trying to rehab this man's image, when at the end of the day, you guys were the bottom of the barrel that he never would have associated with. The only
Never.
reason he's associating with y'all now is because he's down bad. And as soon as he's
Yeah, because y'all heard he was paying content creators, maybe reporters. I don't have nothing to do with reporters, but content creators. You know that the team allegedly. No, I ain't gonna even say that because I saw it. Not saw them getting paid, but heard it already. Because they are paying content creators to help Diddy, right? All right, y'all, man. And I know the main ring leader out there. I know he was one of them. I know.
would have associated with. The only reason he's associating with y'all now is because he's down bad. And as soon as he's up again, he ain't even gonna let y'all smell. Anyway, right? The whole again. Did I know TISA move on? But did I lie? Because the probation department also heard the same evidence I did, and the people that were actually paying attention in court actually did, and they actually are saying the same thing. So anyway, they said Because he has no criminal history.
Oh,
The guideline
Lord,
table says
y'all.
70 to 87 months for the offense level 27. That's 5 years, 10 months to 7 years, 3 months. And that's why the probation recommended that specific page. Now, granted, this is just based off of points. It's not based off of subjective. It's like, did he do this? Add a point. Did he do this? Add a point. Did he do this? Add a point. It's simple math. They got the 27. Okay. Now, the pre-sentencing report in the Southern District of New York includes narrative of the offense, guideline math, criminal history, personal background, family, health, finance, etc., victim statements, the impact and or restitution. Diddy might be ordered to pay restitution to some of the victims, and the recommendation. That's what probation thinks is fair. They could have asked for more. They could have gone for less, but they applied it by the numbers. And it's confidential. Only the judge, the defense, and the prosecution get the full report. However, the Diddy docket did leak a paragraph of it. So how will this play out? Well, they're saying, TISA, the defense will argue the enhancements are wrong, which they already have. Notice at the end, it says grossly overstates the seriousness of the offense and is infected with multiple legal and factual errors. The prosecution will probably argue probation got it right. And they did promise in prior memos to push for even higher, a significant departure up. And the Judge Aaron will make the final decision. And Judge Aaron is going to make the final decision. So I don't know what y'all think. I mean, Diddy's team was really, really good on getting on the good side of the jury, making misogynistic jokes, doing this, baby. It was an abuser special. And all the dusty, dirty pick-me's and the dusty, dirty debutantes, right? And debaters that want to go up for this, argue with your mama if she's still talking to you. Because right now, the pre-sentencing report is giving guidelines based on the same impression that myself and anybody in the defense got out of watching the Diddy trial. Now, we will see what happens, right? It's my opinion. We'll see what happens. But it looks like the probation department actually agrees, if this Diddy document can be believed. So the question is, did I lie? Did I lie? Did I lie? Or did the jury get it wrong? Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. You know, we're going to be covering what's tomorrow, the acquittal trial, and of course, on this 3rd, there will be sentencing. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
All right, y'all. Loved it. Loved it. All right. So, all right. Yeah, now y'all see why I let her talk more, because only she knows how she felt. And hey, I want her to get all her emotions out. Yes, yes, and yes. So, like tomorrow, I see y'all. I'm gonna see y'all before then, cause yeah. So, I hope y'all liked it. Hope y'all subscribe. Subscribe. We at 1,059 last I checked. Okay, 1,059 subs. So we're going up slowly but surely. So we won from that 160. So yeah, and also it's that new hype button. I be hitting it for, well, really every video I go on that I watch, I hype it. If I watched it, I hyped it. But yeah, so yeah, subscribe to Valentine TV. I'll talk to y'all later. I love y'all, and I'll talk to you later. See y'all. All right.